Hello everyone, I'm Dr. David James. For more than 30 years, I've spent my career working with men and women in their 50, 60 years old, and beyond, people who are entering a stage of life where the body and the mind begin to send us subtle signals. Signals that may seem small at first, but in reality can carry powerful warnings. Have you ever been walking down a familiar street and suddenly noticed yourself shuffling, taking shorter steps, or losing balance? Or maybe you went into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and found your wallet sitting in the vegetable drawer. It might sound funny, but I've seen many patients start out exactly like this. And over time, these little accidents become pieces of a much bigger puzzle: dementia. I don't share this to frighten you. On the contrary, I want us to face the truth together, because only when we acknowledge it can we find ways to slow it down, manage it, and most importantly, protect the beauty and meaning of our later years. Now, when people hear the word dementia, most immediately think of memory loss, forgetting names, forgetting dates, misplacing keys. But the truth is, the earliest signs are often much more subtle, and if we're not careful, they can slip right past us. One of my patients, Mary, age 68, once told me, "Doctor, my hands feel weak. I used to twist open a jar of jam in seconds, but now I need my grandson's help. I guess I'm just getting old, right?" But after examining her, I realized it wasn't just ordinary aging. Muscle weakness, especially in grip strength, has a strong link to dementia risk. The body and the brain are deeply connected. When the muscles weaken, the brain is affected too. Another patient, John, shared this with me. "Every night I dream that I'm fighting or running. My daughter says I kick, punch, even swing my arms in my sleep. Sometimes I shout out loud." What he was experiencing is called REM sleep disorder, an early warning sign often connected with Lewy body dementia. Sleep is supposed to be the time when the brain takes out the trash. But when sleep becomes chaotic, that process breaks down. And as restful sleep disappears, brain health slowly declines. Perhaps what troubles me most, though, isn't just memory loss. It's the changes in personality. I've watched cheerful, loving grandparents become irritable, suspicious, even distant from their own families. One day, the son of a patient came to me in tears. "My dad used to play guitar for us every evening, but now he doesn't touch it anymore. He just sits in silence. Even when his granddaughter runs to hug him, he doesn't smile." That loss of interest, that emotional flatness, is called apathy. It's not the same as depression because it doesn't depend on circumstances. It's a sign the brain itself is changing, and that change deeply affects family bonds. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself sitting in the living room, surrounded by loved ones, yet feeling as if your mind is far away? No interest in the conversation, no energy for social gatherings. If so, please don't ignore it. Another important clue lies in the senses. Smell, taste, hearing things we often take for granted can actually be early warning bells. Research shows that people who lose their sense of smell or hearing are at higher risk for dementia. Why? Because when the brain can't process sensory signals well, it means nerve cells are already struggling. Picture this. You're at the market, stepping down the stairs, but misjudge the height and almost fall. Or you pour tea and it spills over the cup. These simple mistakes may actually reveal problems with spatial awareness, another sign of dementia. And then there's short-term memory. Some of my patients ask me the same question again and again, even if I just answered it 5 minutes ago. They don't remember they asked. And as the disease progresses, the pain deepens when they no longer recognize their own family member. I once sat with an elderly woman who looked at her daughter and whispered to me, "She's so kind. Is she one of the nurses here?" But the young woman standing there was her own daughter. Yet, in the middle of these painful stories, I want you to hold on to hope. We are not powerless. While there is no cure, early detection and lifestyle changes can slow the progression. Science has shown us regular exercise, brisk walking, swimming, or light weights increases blood flow to the brain. The Mediterranean or Mayan diet rich in vegetables, nuts, olive oil, and fish reduces inflammation and protects brain cells. Deep, quality sleep helps the brain clear out toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's. Learning new skills, playing chess, solving puzzles, these build what we call cognitive reserve, like a savings account of brain power to fight decline. I'll never forget one of my patients, Richard, who said, "Doctor, I can't remember the poems I learned long ago, but since I started learning piano at 65, my mind feels sharper. The brain, like a muscle, grows stronger with training." So today, as I share these signs with you, I hope you don't see them as a death sentence. Instead, see them as wake-up calls. If you find yourself walking slower, forgetting more, or losing interest in what you once loved, see a doctor early. Don't wait. Aging can be a beautiful journey if we listen to our bodies, care for our brains, and nurture our hearts. Let me ask you, what do you want to hold on to the longest? The laughter of your grandchild, the hymns at Sunday service, or simply the familiar aroma of your morning coffee? Whatever it is, keep that picture in your heart, because that is your reason, your motivation to stay strong, to keep healthy habits, and to face challenges with courage. The signs you should never ignore. 1. Slower walking and posture changes. A 72-year-old patient once told me, "Doctor, I thought it was just my knees, but now I spill soup and my hands shake." It wasn't just arthritis, it was the early stage of dementia affecting his motor control. 2. Disturbed sleep, dreams of fighting, shouting, restless movements at night. That's more than just poor sleep, it may be an early sign of brain changes. 3. Weak hands, weak brain. Grip strength is tied to brain health. The weaker the muscles, the higher the dementia risk. 4. Changes in mood and personality, from joyful to suspicious, from loving to distant. Emotional changes are often the first to appear. 5. Feeling lost in familiar places, not remembering why you entered a room, or losing direction on a familiar street. These are warning signs. 6. Short-term memory loss, repeating the same questions, forgetting conversations, eventually not recognizing loved ones. 7. Hallucinations and delusions, seeing or hearing things that aren't there, smelling smoke or food that doesn't exist. It's frightening, but it's the disease, not the person's choice. 8. Loss of bladder and bowel control, difficult to accept, but very real. Families must respond with dignity and compassion. 9. A message of hope. Even without a cure, lifestyle choices can slow dementia. Eat well, exercise, stay mentally active, and get good sleep. My dear friends, we've just walked through a difficult journey together. The signs, the struggles, the heartbreak of dementia. Maybe as you listened, you thought of your own slips, or remembered your parents, or someone you love. I want you to know this: you are not alone. Millions are facing the same challenge, and most importantly, there is hope. One of my patients, Robert, age 74, told me, "I know my memory is fading, but I just want to wake up each morning clear enough to see my garden and remember the names of the flowers." And because of that simple wish, he kept exercising, learning, and reading. A year later, his memory wasn't perfect, but he still enjoyed each day with clarity. That's the lesson. Our motivation is the strongest medicine for the brain. So let me ask you again. What memory do you want to keep alive the longest? Whatever it is, let it guide you. In summary, if your steps change, your grip weakens, or your sleep is restless, don't dismiss it. If your mood shifts, your senses fade, or your memory slips, pay attention. If hallucinations or loss of control appear, seek medical help immediately. Early recognition, early action, that's the best way to protect your brain and keep your golden years meaningful. Before we finish, I want to ask something from you. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe, not just for this channel, but to help these messages reach more families, mothers, fathers, neighbors who may be searching for answers. And if today's stories reminded you of yourself or someone you love, leave a comment, share your experience. Sometimes, one story can make someone else feel less alone on this journey. I'm Dr. David James. I believe that every day we can learn something new, smile again, or remember the face of a loved one is a day we win another battle against dementia. So please, slow down, love yourself more, and care for your brain as the treasure it truly is. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to uncover the secrets to living healthier, sharper, and more fully every single day.